In the dim glow of his home office, John Thompson's hands trembled as he hit play on the drone footage. The screen flickered to life, revealing his wife, Sarah, stepping out of their suburban home with a backpack slung over her shoulder. She glanced around nervously before slipping into her car and driving off into the twilight. John's heart hammered in his chest. He had followed her secretly, driven by a gnawing suspicion that had poisoned his thoughts for weeks. But as the drone's camera zoomed in on her destination, what it captured wasn't betrayal. It was something far more shattering, a secret that would unravel their marriage, only to weave it back stronger than ever. John and Sarah had been the picture-perfect couple for 12 years. They met in college, where John's quiet engineering mind complemented Sarah's vibrant spirit as a schoolteacher. He built gadgets in their garage. She filled their home with laughter and homemade meals. They had 2 kids, 8-year-old Mia and 6-year-old Liam, who adored their parents' playful banter. But lately, cracks had appeared. Sarah started leaving the house at odd hours, claiming errands or meetings with friends. Her phone buzzed with texts she quickly silenced, and she seemed distant, her once bright eyes clouded with unspoken worry. John tried to brush it off at first. Work stress, he told himself. But memories of his own parents' messy divorce haunted him. His father's infidelity had shattered their family when John was just a teen. Paranoia crept in like fog, whispering that Sarah was hiding an affair one evening after Sarah kissed him goodbye and drove away yet again. John couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed his high-tech drone, a hobby he'd picked up during the pandemic, equipped with a silent propeller and a 4K camera. "Just to ease my mind," he muttered, launching it from the backyard. The drone hummed softly into the sky, trailing her car at discreet altitude. John's app tracked her in real time, his stomach twisting as she headed toward the city's outskirts, a rundown neighborhood he barely recognized. The footage showed Sarah parking near an old warehouse, its windows boarded up and graffiti scarring the walls. She stepped out, looking over her shoulder before knocking on a side door. A burly man answered, his face obscured by shadows, and let her in. John's breath caught. Was this it? The proof he dreaded? The drone hovered outside, its camera peeking through a cracked window. Inside, dim lights revealed a makeshift space filled with cots, tables laden with food, and people. Dozens of them, huddled in groups. Homeless folks by the look of it, some with children clinging to their sides. Sarah moved among them with purpose, unpacking her backpack, blankets, canned goods, even toys for the kids. John leaned closer to the screen, confusion replacing his fear. This wasn't an affair, but why the secrecy? The drone captured more, Sarah kneeling beside a young woman, no older than 20, with hollow cheeks and a cough that rattled through the speakers. Sarah handed her medicine, then wrapped her in a hug. The woman whispered something, and Sarah's face crumpled, tears streaming down her cheeks. John's world tilted. Who was this woman? Why was Sarah risking her safety in a place like this? As the footage rolled on, the shock deepened. Sarah pulled out a folder from her bag, spreading papers across a rickety table. The drone zoom revealed adoption forms, medical records. The young woman's name jumped out. Emily Harper. Harper, Sarah's maiden name. John's mind raced back to their early days. Sarah had mentioned a tough childhood, bouncing between foster homes after her parents died young. But she'd never spoken of siblings or a child? The pieces clicked with horrifying clarity. Emily wasn't just anyone. She was Sarah's daughter, given up for adoption when Sarah was barely 18, a secret buried under layers of shame and regret. John paused the video, his face pale. Sarah had been a teen mom, forced by circumstances to let go of her baby. And now, from the looks of it, Emily had tracked her down, homeless, battling addiction, and gravely ill. The medical papers hinted at kidney failure. Sarah was there not just to help, but to save her. Tests for compatibility as a donor. John's suspicion evaporated, replaced by a tidal wave of guilt and heartache. How had he missed the signs? The exhaustion in her eyes wasn't from cheating, it was from carrying this burden alone. That night, when Sarah returned home, John confronted her, not with anger but with the drone footage queued up on his laptop. "I followed you," he confessed, his voice breaking. God, Sarah, I thought you were leaving me." She froze in the doorway, her face draining of color. Tears welled as she sank onto the couch, the weight of her secret finally shared. "It started 6 months ago," she whispered, her hands clasped tightly. "Emily found me through social services. She was just a kid when I gave her up. I was scared, alone, no family to help. I thought it was the right thing, but I've regretted it every day." Sarah explained how Emily had spiraled after aging out of foster care, drugs, bad relationships, ending up on the streets. Now, with end-stage kidney disease, she needed a transplant. Sarah had been tested. She was a match. But the process meant hospital visits, emotional turmoil, and the fear of upending their family life. "I didn't want to burden you, John. Our kids, our life is so good. How do I tell them their mom has a daughter she abandoned?" John pulled her into his arms, his own tears falling. "You didn't abandon her. You gave her a chance. And you don't have to do this alone anymore." The confession opened floodgates. They talked through the night about Sarah's hidden pain, John's trust issues from his past, and the fear that had driven him to spy. It was raw, painful. Accusations flew, but so did apologies. John admitted his drone stunt was a betrayal of trust, born from insecurity. Sarah forgave him, understanding his scars. Together they faced the challenge, integrating Emily into their world. The next day, they visited the shelter as a team. Emily, wary at first, softened when she saw John's genuine concern. "Mom's told me about you," she said weakly, hooked up to a dialysis machine in a back room. John knelt beside her. "We're family now, whatever it takes." The road ahead was steep. Medical bills piled up. Emily's recovery would be grueling, and explaining it all to Mia and Liam tested their parenting. The kids were confused at first. A big sister? Where was she? But Sarah's honesty turned it into a lesson on compassion. "Sometimes life gives us second chances," she told them. "We grabbed them with both hands, challenges mounted." Sarah's surgery loomed, a risky procedure that left John pacing hospital corridors, praying for her safety. Emily's addiction reared its head during recovery, leading to heated arguments and relapse scares. John, once the skeptical engineer, dove into research, support groups, therapy sessions. He even used his drone skills for good, mapping out safer routes for shelter volunteers, turning his gadget into a tool for community aid. The family bonded through it all. Mia drew pictures for Emily's hospital room. Liam shared his toys during visits. What started as a shocking revelation became a catalyst for growth. Months later, with Sarah's kidney saving Emily's life, the family gathered for their first real dinner together. Emily, clean and healthier, laughed at John's dad jokes. Sarah watched with glistening eyes, her secret no longer a shadow but a bridge to deeper love. John raised a glass to trust, even when it's hard, to family, no matter how it's made. The story of John's drone discovery spread quietly at first, shared in therapy circles, then online forums. People were shocked by the twist, not infidelity but redemption. It inspired others to confront their secrets, to choose vulnerability over suspicion. In the end, what the drone recorded wasn't destruction. It was the raw material for healing. Trust isn't built on perfection. It's forged in the fires of forgiveness. And sometimes, the greatest shocks lead to the most beautiful rebirths.